When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Social Media Derby, second episode of the week after the midweek games and previewing the weekend games as well. We've got 3-man up on this pod, plus Rhys will be joining soon. He can't duck the smoke because of Chelsea's atrocious performance this week. But before we get into it, for those watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, share if you can. For those listening on the audio podcasting platforms, please follow, give us a 5-star review. All of that helps the podcast grow. And of course, the views expressed in this podcast are just for entertainment purposes, just jokes. Anything non-football related are not real opinions, just all banter. If they are football related, sometimes we should probably add that disclaimer for some of Kem's shit that he says. Oops, sworn already. Let's get into it, guys. We'll start off with the Arsenal game. 2-0 against Brentford, because we're going to save that Chelsea bit just for you, Rhys, in case you're dialed in, watching before you join. We'll save that nice bit for you. We'll start with the Arsenal game, 2-0 at home to Brentford. Marino scores again, and then a really late goal from Bukayo Saka. We'll start with you, Razor. What was your take on the game? It was quite nip and tuck, actually. I know Brentford didn't have loads of chances. I think there was a big save from Raya in the first half, that was a top save, to be fair. But other than that, it was just a bit antsy. It wasn't super clinical in terms of performance, but got the dub. What did you make of it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. A little bit antsy, to be expected, I think, when we're looking at the injury situation. You got a couple serious starters missing, especially at centre back. Embedding like new players or players who've been away with injury for a while. So like Ben White coming back into the team and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree. It wasn't the purring, well-oiled machine that I'd love to see, and I feel like we've grown accustomed to seeing. But also, I feel like I was impressed by the fact that it wasn't that, and we still, as you said, went out and got the dub, shut them out, kept a clean sheet, which I think is really important for us, especially when we start making changes to that defensive sort of like setup. And yeah, scored some goals. Saw Gyökeres get back on the pitch. You know what I mean? So it just felt like a lot of positives all round. And yeah, I don't mind. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be prime time box office viewing every single week. Sometimes it's like, get the dub, on to the next one. And I think that was one of them fixtures. But yeah, overall happy.
Yeah, Brentford are a tricky team, man. I've had to run it back after calling them absolute crap, and then they absolutely blamed us. But they went for a weird team selection. Like they dropped Thiago, who's been absolutely cooking. They dropped a few other of their big hitters and kind of only brought them on in the second half. But still, to be honest, a lot of their rotation pieces look pretty good as well. Like they kept up in the game, and you guys, I know you rotated as well, but it was fairly competitive. So, John, the question I want to ask you, mate, is Mikel Merino has often been brought up on this pod. A few members who are not on the pod this episode have some unkind things to say about him. A lot of people out there definitely don't like him when he's a midfielder. Do you think this guy could actually be your first choice striker going forward? Because his scoring rate to appearances when he's played at centre forward has been pretty handy. So do you reckon that's actually even something to consider? Or do you think Gyökeres comes back or Havertz comes back, they're straight back in?
I mean, it's a question. I don't know if anyone expected him to score this many goals, including people at the club. Like, I don't know if Martel was thinking that this experiment was going to work as well as it has. Not to say it's like perfect, but for him to get on the score sheet and really contribute to games in the way that he has, I'm not sure if anybody would have expected that. So I think from my point of view, like, I don't think number 9 position is ever go, or like the kind of upfront striker. I don't think that position is ever going to be nailed necessarily. I just don't think that is a position within like Arteta's system that he wants to be static and just kind of stay the same all the time. I think you've got other parts of the team that are a lot more consistent in terms of the players that start there, right? Like Rhys, Mandy, the centre backs, Saka on the left wing, on the right wing. Sorry. So I think like those positions seem a lot more nailed to me. Whereas I think the striker, I feel like he really likes to vary it up, right? You've seen with previous seasons, Havertz, Gabby Jesus. He does like to flip flop between them, and they're not exactly all in profile, are they? Right? When you look at Havertz and Gabby Jesus, they could not be further apart in terms of the profile of how they play. And he does like to just switch them up, kind of change the way we play for them. My answer to the question is no. I don't think Mikel Merino will ever be our nailed on like starting striker. I do think he's kind of like maybe pushing that percentage of how often he'll get played there up with the performances that he showed and the way the team works with him in that position. So, think about it. When Havertz comes back, we were talking about Gyökeres coming back, yeah. But when Havertz comes back, Jesus comes back, so that's 4 people that have mainly played in a striker role for us so far that potentially play there, with most of them being slightly different in profile, right? Maybe Havertz and Merino are a bit more similar in the way they but Gyökeres is very different from them. Gabby Jesus is very different from them. So I think he's just pushing up the percentage of the games that he will play in that position. I think he's gone now from maybe 5% of the games when everyone's fully fit playing there to maybe 10, 15, 20% of the games he'll get a chance there. But I still think it will be Mikel Arteta's like default, if that makes sense, right? Like I'm sure Ray, you've got probably some stuff to say on this too, but when all of those lot fit, I feel like it's going to be Havertz and Gyökeres that is starting at striker for the majority of the games. And Mikel Merino is going to be in there when we've got injuries, which, would appear to be all the time with, at least with Gabby Jesus and Havertz, right? Like, so he's going to be up there. Like, it's gone from, this is the mate of mine filling in, to like, this is the guy that comes to five-a-side, a few times a year. People in the team know his name. Like, we played with him before, kind of like he gets in the team when he can play. But, he's on holiday a lot, or he works overseas or whatever. But it doesn't feel like he's going to be like starting 11, first name on the team sheet, like up front, from what I can see or from what I'm feeling. But I want to say big props to him, because he's been class. I know people want to say that he's not a good player. He's got a knack for scoring, but I feel like that does severely kind of like underestimate his capabilities, because he's a techie ball. Like, he's left-footed. There aren't many left-footed players out there that are not techie. So he's got tech. What he lacks in speed and agility, he probably makes up for in kind of nous, right? And getting in the right areas, attacking the box at the right times, good header of the ball, finish. But yeah, I don't know, Ray. Do you think I can't see him being like the nailed on starter when everyone's fit?
I've been saying it for a while. Mikel Arteta has a fetish for multi-purpose players. The more purposes that you can get under your belt, the more the gaffer will fancy you. That is basically how it works. You know what I mean? Like, you can play left back, but you're a centre back. But you like to just go on a mad one and run around. Like, Zinchenko was like the basis for the Calafiori play wherever you want, except fullback apparently kind of experiment. You know what I mean? All of our centre backs play fullback, and all of our fullbacks play centre back. Our 10 could play on the left. The only person who doesn't really move is Saka. Do you know what I mean? And even more recently, we've seen that. So it's like it's well established that like Arteta has this, as I like to call it, fetish for multi-purpose players. I'm not gonna lie, as much as I'm like, give the gaffer credit. I think we just stumbled upon this. There was not meant to be a situation in which 3 of our first team strikers were meant to be like injured, you know what I mean? And then like, even if you look at like other positions, when we've had those kind of injuries to critical players, we've but we've drawn on the pool from our very talented sort of like academy teams. Do you know what I mean? We've got a lot of youngsters coming through. But Striker weren't really that, and I think Mourinho, you know, like when somebody leaves the job mad unexpectedly, and then the guy who's at the mid-level manager you start getting called into senior meetings. That was basically his bag, innit? And he was excelling. He was providing shareholder growth. Do you know what I'm saying? So they're like, broski, do you want dental? Why don't you join do you know what I mean? Why don't you join the big boy table, as it were? I'm gonna be honest, yeah. If this was a real analogy, then that guy that just stepped up from middle management would be, you know, in our age group, probably an ethnic minority dude. And the established striker would be the white man that comes back and gets the job regardless. Because, you know, that's the guy. That's what he's here for, isn't it? That's how I see it. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm being real in it. It don't matter how well you perform while you're doing a next job that you're not here for. People always appreciate it. But at the end of the day, brother, you're meant to be a midfielder, innit? And I think, is his position more likely to become striker? I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Arteta's going to, you know, really get into his, I could bring him on here kind of bag. You know what I mean?
He's getting to his pet Tinker Taylor Soldier Spy phase. Yeah, I get you.
You know what I mean? We're 2-0 up. He's like, yeah, I'm going to bring on Mourinho, and the opposition aren't going to know whether that's an attacking change or I'm bringing on another midfielder. And then, like, that's how he's going to be looking at it. When in actual fact, we just want to know what's going on. But yeah, like I said, hopefully we're not looking at a situation, because at one point, Gabby injured, Kai injured, Gyökeres, we get the new striker, he comes in injured. Trossard can play down the middle. It looked like he was injured. Martinelli was coming back. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm very grateful for the services of Mikel Merino. I don't think he offers the team more, despite him being a really good finisher. I don't think he offers the team in gameplay more than some of our actual out and out strikers. And it's interesting because I think it's a complaint that a lot of Arsenal fans had about Havertz when he started playing for us. It was like, yeah, he does get goals. Obviously, Marino's scoring much, I would say, a better rate than him in that period. But like all the other things that you want your striker and the line leader to do, he's not doing, innit? Or he doesn't look convincing. I don't know what the word is there. But yeah, in short, if Gyökeres is back, if Jesus is back, and I see Marino starting, I've been wrong before.
We've got to stop with Jesus talk. That brother's done. He's done.
Hey,
he is, but he will still have cameos though. Like last season,
he might come on a little 5 minutes here, a little 5
slap
minutes
goals in. I'm fine with that. Just contribute to the goals.
Respect Jesus.
We'll run down the contract.
I do like Jesus as a player. Well, before he's been mashed up by injuries, but this situation, yeah, of course, Gabriel Jesus, he's gonna be sold in probably January or whatever, like before his contract ends. He's just gonna run out his contract end. Like that one's just he's gonna sail out into the sunset in terms of Premier League.
I said they let him finish the season.
I think we like him enough. We like him enough that we'll just let the contract run down and just say, you know what, have it. Yeah, no, so then he can go wherever he wants. He's made his bag and cool. And obviously the fans still love him, even though he's already he's super injury prone. We love him, and he's got songs after him. He is still a big player for us, and he's got the right mentality. But I want to bring your attention to one stat. In the last 6 games, Mourinho has 4 goals and 3 assists. Bro,
he's been cooking, man. He's been cooking.
This is the outrageous shot. These are Ballon d'Or numbers right here.
Chill out.
Ballon d'Or Marino in the flesh.
4 and 3 is not Ballon d'Or numbers. What are you talking about? But
I do in all competitions.
You need to give. I do think this is a legitimate question. I think your answers, are still a bit based on maybe the few cameos he had, back end of last season, beginning of this season. But I think at this point, I could see Havertz coming in because I think Arteta, for some reason, loves Havertz. And I think I could see that being the shift. But I see those two guys closer in terms of what they offer the team. I agree with what you're saying, Rhys. I think that Gyökeres one is one. the Gyökeres, well, I would argue even Marino, like Reza said, Marino's a better finisher than Havertz. So he does a lot of the same things, plus he bags more. If you look at his cameo and his ratio to performances, goals to performances, I think the question mark then goes on the Gyökeres. If Gyökeres doesn't, if he's at some point in and out of the team, not suddenly the main striker, then boy, that's a bit of a weird one. If he's either displaced longer term by Marino or is not able to get his spot. I mean, if you win the title, no one's ultimately going to give a shit. But in terms of that signing, I think it gets a little bit of a question mark if he's not. He was definitely bought by most people's understanding to be your main striker, right? All the hype, the goals, the ratio, everything like that.
I know, but I think that's what we wanted, right? That's what we expected of him. But if you think about like Mikel Arteta, when is Mikel Arteta, like Reza said, right? There's very players that actually don't get changed, right? And we even complain about them, right? Like with Saka and Rhys and like kind of people saying they're going to run him into the ground and stuff. But I think I agree with you. I think like Gyökeres will be the one to start, but I think he's going to get taken off at 70 minutes frequently. And it's going to be Marino coming on. It's going to be Havertz coming on if he didn't start. It's going to be Gabby Jesus coming on if he didn't start. I think that is going to be one of the big things that will tend to happen. And maybe Gyökeres will get annoyed at that, but I think that's good because I'm getting really afraid of these injuries. And I think we do need to talk about injuries, Dan. As much as I don't want to make excuses, Mosquera is out now for 6 to 8 weeks, bro. Rhys came off the last game limping. Apparently, he's like on FPL. He's a yellow with a calf injury. Bro, like we have 8 centre backs, but 5 of them are injured now. It's getting ridiculous, and I don't know who's in charge, who has sabotaged our medical staff. But whatever's going on, where everyone is just made a fucking cheese string, needs to go.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's your most stacked area, but yeah, having 5 injuries or 4 injuries wipes out half the options. It's like you're still gonna, and the thing is, I don't know. Obviously, a lot's been made of all the defensive signings. I don't know if you've got that bandwidth. I mean, you probably got the cash and the capability to do it, but you might have to go out and get like an emergency loan or something like that because there's no way he's going to go out and commit to signing another defender, right? When you've got those 8 defenders sitting there, eventually will be fit, you'd hope. Like
he needs to go and get Mosquera's little brother. Go get Mosquera's little brother, get him in, mate. We already did the signing photo and everything. Like we don't even need to do that. Just come in.
Yeah. All right, last question before we move on, because Rhys has joined. Well done, bro, for coming through. We'll head into the Chelsea section in a minute. You brought this up, Reza, on the group chat. Saka, when he scores his goal, Gyökeres is wide open. And man completely ignores him, chops, and then lucky for him, I guess, he actually gets the goal. Bit of a weird, like, not the most aesthetically pleasing goal that like just about trickles over the line with the goalie flapping at it to get it out, but he scores. Do you think Saka chose to do that? Because I think normally Saka's he generally makes the right decision for the team more time than not, right? Like whether it's him shooting or laying it off for someone else or crossing or whatever. But it did feel a bit pointed, like he chose to go for the glory. Do you think this is a reaction to maybe some of the special memes and stat images that I've been sharing and other people have been sharing in the group about his output recently? Do you think it's based on this, or do you think it's just he hasn't been scoring loads of goals and assisting loads of goals recently, so he just wanted to get on the mark? What do you reckon, Jonts? What's your or Reza? Either one of Arsenal lads? What do you guys make?
I think we've got to go Ray first because he asked the question. I feel like he has an answer prepared.
Not prepared per se, but it is something. It's what keeps me awake at night. I'm just sat there thinking, why didn't Saka square the ball? What if it hadn't crossed the line? Nah, I always say it, man. I feel like we all get a bit like old man down the Weatherspoons pub with our opinions on what footballers should and shouldn't take in from social media sometimes. Like, we're all a bit like, oh yeah, but like, like if you're a player, like you got to like not look at any of that, and like you got mentality, this mentality. These brothers are in their mid-20s. Like they see this stuff, especially when you've got like pages and brands and publishers the size of some of these, Paddy Powers and that getting involved in the banter. They see this stuff. Do you know what I mean? I don't think, like it's like a problem in terms of Saka. Like, if it was 0-0 or 1-1 there, he probably makes that bolted on decision and squares it to Gyökeres. But I do think it kind of highlights, one, I think he wanted to get on the score sheet. I think he felt like there wasn't a lot of jeopardy. And then the third factor, which is, who's going to tell Bukayo Saka off for taking a shot at Arsenal? You must be mad. What do you think this is? Are you mad? Like, oh, he can do what he wants. As long as we don't lose the game, who's going to G-check him outside of the manager? Do you know what I'm saying? But I do think when there's been a lot of talking about Gyökeres' effectiveness as a striker, as a transfer, one of the things that I've been trying to get some of my fellow Arsenal fans like Lana to take on board, like from the beginning of this season, is that we've gone from playing like in a system where our wingers were basically like able to do whatever. And now suddenly you still want our wingers to do whatever. They're still focal points. We still run everything through like that kind of inside out, outside in kind of structure. But now you want the guy that was at the top of it to suddenly be delivering like bare goals all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's like if we looked at what Havertz was doing in a similar situation, or what our striker was doing, he's doing a lot of like running down the channels, getting in little elbow fights with defenders, scrappy stuff in the corner, winning corners, you know what I mean? Like, so it's interesting. But I just thought that moment it was interesting to see because of that. One, you got the Saka thing when people are talking about, is Saka good? Is Saka not good? Is he world class? Should he be compared to my man, this, that, and the other? And I think he's trying to show us like, don't count me out. Do you know what I mean? And then at the same time, you've got people having similar discourses and discussions about Gyökeres. And it's like, how good can he look if our system hasn't quite yet found a way to, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I just thought it was funny seeing the two convos like in real time and the subsequent memes that they produced.
And I feel like
no one can G-check Saka in that Arsenal team.
It's impossible.
Oh no.
I'll come to the stadium and fight you myself.
Definitely not Gyökeres, the way he's been, the output and like the struggles that he's had. I know he's had some good games as well, and it's not like he's been disastrous. He's definitely not been Isak or Verts or any of them bums. But he's had a bit of a struggle. He definitely can't come and G-check Saka after 4 months. Like, he's gonna have to just hold it and wait for his moment to start bagging, I think. Jonty, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, I think, I don't know if you noticed this, but I have seen, like, since Saka came back from injury, I do feel like there's like more of a presence about him. I kind of like before, because he's a youngster and he's also a really nice person. Like, he's always been not shy necessarily, but he's kind of given like young energy. He's not willing to necessarily impose himself. He's not moaning necessarily at very much. He doesn't get involved in beef with the other players of the other teams or anything. But I feel like I've seen, since he came back from the injury, he definitely got a bit more like anger about him in a good way. And I do quite like that. I like that he's got more of an edge to him now. Like, even in the Chelsea game when Cuckoo was constantly clapping him down and fouling him and doing his typical shin kicking nonsense, like, you could see in his face, he was getting onto the ref, he was getting onto Cuckoo. Like, I like to see this a little bit more. And I think that kind of plays into the idea of like, he's kind of got a little bit of maybe a chip on his shoulder now. So he's coming in and saying, you know what, like, because he had a couple of other chances recently that he's kind of missed, but, you know, maybe hasn't made the best of. I think there was one actually in that game where he should have done a better, you know, he should have had a shot on target. But like, I think after that, he was just like, nah, I'm taking this into my own hands now. I've heard what people are saying. I'm going to show them and I'm going to go and score it myself. So I'm quite liking seeing it. I don't know if you guys have noticed that too, but it definitely feels like he's not like run styling the whole game anymore. Like, he's running around with like some vitriol behind his play, which I'm liking to see, because I think that was probably the one that he's probably missed of all these times. Like, it's really being a bit of a shit out.
I think he's definitely seen the social media stuff, to Razor's point earlier. Like, it's unavoidable, right? It's ridiculous to expect that they're not going to see someone out there, whether it's a company or a prominent content creator, kind of questioning him, which is, to be fair, completely ridiculous if you look at his output since he's touched grass for your team. Like, he's basically put you on his back at the beginning, and then like he's just followed the trajectory of the team, kept growing. And the only time he's had a bit of a sticky period is after a pretty bad was it a hammy? or it was like something like that, right? His injury, calf or
Yeah, it
hammy
was
or
a
something.
hamstring
Not that easy
injury.
to recover from. So you know what I mean. For an explosive winger, that's always going to take a bit of time. So I think he's probably playing with a little mini chip on his shoulder because I don't think it's been that bad, but I do think people have probably come through a bit early. And I like it, man. You want to see it. Saka's always had something about him, though. Like even to the pain of my own team, I remember that United Arsenal game at Emirates when he was copying Rashi's celebration and all that. I was like, I rated it. That that was class. I thought he was a sweet boy before that, and then when he did that, I was like, all right, man's got a bit of that in him. He's got some dog in him. I like that, even if it was
when he did this as well against Spurs, when he did the James Maddison celebration and the whole the Real Madrid thing where Carvajal was trying to beat. He's definitely a cheeky boy as well, which is jokes.
Okay. You love to see it. But anyway, Arsenal get the dub. We've done 25 minutes, caught up enough time that Rhys can join for the Chelsea segment. Bro,
where you at, my boy? Where you at?
This is absolute madness that United and Liverpool both have absolutely disgusting results this midweek, and Chelsea are by far and away the stinker of the week in terms of performances. 3-1 away at Leeds. Leeds have looked absolutely, like, apart from that City game, which maybe it's a turning point for them because they look decent in that game as well. But they just absolutely dominated you lot. Chelsea 3-1 at home. Yeah, I mean, there was some shambolic defending as well, which I'm sure you want to get into, Rhys, from Tosin, who came back into the team. But even some of your attackers, man, João Pedro might need to be put on a light little fraud watch because he's not been doing that much for a little moment now. So yeah, we'll start off with you, Rhys. Big up for joining the pod in that. What did you make of the game? Obviously not the result you were hoping for.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was an awful game from us. I don't think we turned up in any sort of aspect of the game. I think it kind of sort of proves my point in terms of like title challenges, and like you can't show the same intensity against Arsenal and Barcelona. But I've been saying this for weeks, Jonty. I don't know if you remember, before we played Burnley, I sat there on the pod and I said, I'm more worried about Burnley than what I am about Barca and Arsenal, because for some reason we're up for those. We're more up for those games. Like, you see these teams, these little DB teams that we come up against, like they're the ones we can't win. Like we don't have the fight. We don't have but and also I think it shows a lot about sort of the rotation of the team and how sort of the second team, we do kind of miss that spine of right now Trev, Fofana, James, Caicedo in the midfield, and Enzo with a bit more freedom. I won't really talk about up front because, we still need to find an answer for that. But, it just shows that there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered from us. I think Leeds, they did very well with the corners and just the general crosses in the box. I think they just put us under a lot of pressure. Tosin, I think, schoolboy defending, man. You don't do that. And especially if you're going to play out the back like that, you've got to get rid of the ball quickly. You can't just sit there and dawdle on the ball. We gave Dominic Calvert-Lewin his first goal. Like, only at Chelsea could we do that. So, obviously it's disappointing that you can't take the positives from the last two games and go on. And then, but Leeds is a tough place. There is a rivalry there, and they were always up for it. They would always be up for it. And we look second best in every department. I'll happily admit that. And it seems like the first team, obviously they can't play every week, but it seems like if they don't play every week, then we're in trouble. I think, was it Tanaka, his goal? Where was the closing down? Like, he just had a free shot pretty much. Before it was Van Dijk defending, running away from goal like that. But Kev, I know you're watching, so I had to throw that one in there. I think tactically, I think Maresca, he maybe got it wrong with his selections. I think defensively we are still weak. If I don't want to blame Trev too much because I think he's done well. But if he doesn't have a competent centre back with him, then I think it does. We do look a bit worse for wear. And I guess Caicedo's presence was missed in sort of that defensive midfield role. So, still a long way from title challenges, like I did say. I think we need to sort of reset. I think Bournemouth will be a tough game away anyway, so we've got to just put that game behind us and move on. And hopefully Wesley Fofana's fit, and we've got our first team back. Terrible performance from the lads, I must admit. Yeah, shame. Not title challenges. Go on.
Well, we've given Maresca quite a lot of praise for like the tactical side of things. He's definitely like improved a lot, I feel like, especially the big games. But it was a bit of a weird choice. Have you guys played back three much? I don't remember seeing you guys play that formation, at least not this season. So why the hell did he try to do that? And like Tosin has had a rough time. I've heard a few other Chelsea mates basically say they've had enough of him before this game. So why didn't he go for like Acheampong or someone else who's also got the height, got the physicality, can do a lot of the same things Tosin could do, but maybe not the bozo bits? Why did Maresca go with that formation and then also with Tosin after he's been quite shaky this season already? It just seems like a weird decision.
Yeah, I think he was more just trying to accommodate for maybe missing Caicedo in the midfield. I think Tosin, in terms of centre-back options, I guess we are limited. I don't know. Acheampong is good, but like I said, Leeds is a big rivalry with Chelsea. I don't know if I'd have thrown him in straight away, but I think in terms of the quality, it's what we have, man. Like you got to make, you just got to make do with what you have, and I think with
15 centre-backs.
Yeah. So, but none of them it's not like Arsenal. I know the drop between he and Capier and Mosquera, obviously there is a drop off, but it ain't that much. Like, I still don't see them making those types of stupid mistakes, and that's the difference. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I think Tosin, he doesn't have the quality at this level. Like, obviously, I've seen loads of people slate him before this game, and but he is one of the most experienced centre backs we've got because he's the oldest. So that's a bit of So
you think it was an experience thing? Because that is weird, isn't it? Why do Leeds and Chelsea? This is some strange. It's got to be some football hooliganism shit that you guys have, because it makes no sense to me. But like, all right, so you think he's gone for experience? Didn't want to put Acheampong, but well, Tosin showed his experience in the game.
I think his days are numbered, though, Tosin. Obviously, we got him for free.
He's just
so that's
to be with Cole Palmer, isn't it? He's just mates with Cole Palmer. It's just Palmer's buddy to come in and make sure he's good.
Palmer got him a job.
Yeah, basically. Nepotism things. All right, Arsenal guys, you guys have been grimacing, doing different expressions on the face through Rhys's analysis of the game. Let's have at it. I know you guys have been waiting for this segment after the group chat and different backs and forth. What did you make of this game? Jonty, I'll go with you first.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
I mean, Leeds spanked you. Let's be clear. You had one player that played half decently well, and you took him off in like the 60th, and Kittens, as we like to call him, Meow and that. He looked all right, and then you took him off, and you looked terrible. So I think we can talk about Tosin all day long, right? But he's a known quantity. He's been shit for you before. You play him, you should expect him to be shit again, right? Fresco came out after the game and even said, "I don't know why I picked him. I should have picked Acheampong." So like Tosin's days are numbered. People are calling for him to be sold. They're saying that he's the worst purchase ever, the terrible value for money, even though you got him for free. And it's getting to the point now where it's pretty clear, right? Actually, has to play. Fofana has to play, Chalobah has to play, and Tosin has got to be at least your fourth, maybe fifth choice. But like, you know that we don't need to be talking about that, right? Like, you know that, you know how he's going to play, you know how your team's going to set up with him in the lineup. So, like, I'm even going to put the blame on him, right? You can't blame a lion for eating things, right? They do that. That's what they do. You can't blame Tosin for making mistakes and being shit. That's what he does. So we got to look at the rest of your team, man. Like, the rest of your team that have been spoken so highly about when you came to, we came to the bridge and you battered us 1-1. Where are all these other players, mate? Where was Andre Santos, man of the match the game before that? We're talking about Caicedo, we're talking about drop-offs. Well, apparently the drop-off from Caicedo to Andre Santos prior to this game, Arsenal, was not very big. So where was he? What was he doing? Because he didn't seem to be even on the pitch for certain points of that game. And then on top of that, where was Cuckoo? Where was Rhys James? Where was João Pedro, as we've said, right? Where were all of these dons that are supposed to be pretty good players and the best in their position in the league? They were nowhere to be found, right? We're talking about, Rhys James is such a good centre mid. Why didn't you play him instead of Andre Santos? Why didn't you stick Malo Gusto right back instead? So it just feels like it's a whole lot of excuses. We can talk about Leeds being a hard game. Let me remind you that we slapped them 5-0 earlier this season, and you've just 1-1'd us with 10 men. So let's be honest, Farr is having a fucking mare, and you lot should be lapping them up easily. So I want to hear from you. What happened? Where was Enzo, the World Cup winning £100 million Enzo? Where was he? Where was wonky-eyed Liam? He came on and he just wanted to play rugby again.
Bro,
he was out here shoulder barging.
You're talking about players that, like, okay, Andre Santos, very limited experience in the Prem. To go to a place like Leeds, it's always going to be like a tough environment. James didn't play because he can't play more than one game a week. So you can't slander him this time, bro. Liam Delap, obviously, we're waiting for it to work. We're waiting, it's one of them young, inexperienced signings that we have. João Pedro, I feel like he functions better with a working striker. He's not a number 9. Who else did you throw in there? Fernandez missed his brethren, Caicedo, and his other brethren, Rhys James, so he could run free in the midfields. Cucurella, I mean, he plays every game, so I mean, I can't expect him to give 7s out of 10, 24/7. What else? But yeah, no, obviously it was a stinker.
Where was your boy Esteval? Where was your boy Esteval? World beating better than Lamine Yamal. Where was Esteval? Because he had an absolute stinker. And he should have been sent off. Let's not get that wrong either. He kicked out at my man. Should have got a red card for that. And you would have had another, what was it, your 8th red card of the season or whatever it would have been? Mate, was he?
Yeah,
it's Leeds, man. Like, you think Leeds is a tough place to go, man. And especially like they're always going to be up for it for us. And yeah, like that team wasn't physical enough. So, like I said, second best everywhere, second best. No player can hold their head high. Maybe Gittins, like you said. Yeah, I can take the criticism when I can join the pod. Like,
you've taken it well. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Go on, Razor. Do you have anything to add to the Chelsea segment?
Jonty said a lot of stuff. He went, yeah. Do you know what? I know this is a big 6 pod. Well, it's like a big, you know what I mean? I do think there is a lot to be said about Leeds. And like we've talked about some of the promoted sides this season and the fact that usually a team of Chelsea stature dropping points to a team like Leeds, it is like, what are you guys doing? Blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't think we can understate how good they've been. And they've had their struggles, but they've got some quality players there, and they've also got some players that didn't look like they were Prem level when they've played at other players, other places, other clubs. They've obviously gone and worked on stuff with them. You know what I mean? Like, I've been watching and been like, is that Dan James? You know what I mean? It's like you were like, oh, we gave Calvert-Lewin his first goal. Like, I think he's going to get more. I think this is going to be maybe not like the start of like a comeback, but I think we're definitely about to see an uptick in his fortunes and his like gameplay that we wouldn't have seen if he stayed where he was before. And Tanaka, I think Tanaka's been balling out. Like, I won't lie and say that I've watched every minute of Leeds this season, yeah, but whenever I've watched him and he's been on the pitch, I've been mad impressed in it. So as much as like, you know, Chelsea started drinking the Kool-Aid. Chelsea does this, bro. I thought they were going to start huffing their own fart smell after Barcelona. We might catch them lacking. And I'm not going to lie, I'm disappointed. That's why I was more disappointed, because I was like, these guys think they're the guys right now, man. Someone should slap them. And hold tight Leeds for doing it. But yeah, no, I think just generally, there's been a lot of talk about Sunderland, because Sunderland are like, you know, I think they've gone and got some scalps and they've been playing like some really attractive football and stuff like that. But like, I think don't sleep on Leeds. And when we were doing our start of year predictions and we were talking about like the other end of the table and relegations and stuff and like how the newly promoted sides are going to fare, I think we were all very hot on Sunderland and we were all very cold on Burnley, and Leeds kind of got left in the middle. We'll see. It kind of depends on how bad the other Prem teams are. And, you know, shout out Chelsea for showing how bad the other Prem teams can be.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, right? Like, Leeds are fighting against West Ham to stay up, basically. It's between the two of them. And Man United did not do them any favours necessarily. But, yeah, they definitely spanked Chelsea. So if they keep this up, you know, they might be able to get something and stay up. But, I mean, it's got to hurt, especially when their captain is young Ethan Ampadu, who came up through Chelsea, if I remember correctly, as well. He's getting into a bit of beef with some of the Chelsea lot too, so that must have made it hurt a little bit more as well.
It's always your own, man. It's always your own.
I was going to say the only thing I have to add to this is that you guys haven't already said. I actually do agree with when Chelsea, you know, lads start talking about some of the good players they have in their team, but the one I will not accept is Enzo. He's arse. I'm just going to add that in here. I know he's had some better games and he functions better when he's got all those guys around supporting him, but you bought him as a CM, and if his best performances always come in AM and he's still not like, he's never going to match what Cole Palmer was doing, in my opinion, humble opinion. Like, what's the point? And he just irks me. He's just, everything about him, that brother just irks the shit out of me, I have to admit. I would definitely try and scuff him if I was playing five-a-side against him. Let's put it that way. All right, let's get on to the United segment.
He does more shit housery than he does like impact on the ball, and that's got to be the thing that is like, that hurts, right? Like, he's like Emu Bruno Guimaraes. Right? Like, he does all the beefing, he does all of that stuff off the ball, and, you know, gets in people's faces, looking at Madueke and whatever else. But on the ball, man, he's lacking something. And you paid 100 mil for him, you paid 100 mil for Caicedo. Caicedo's looking like he's working out. I still think Caicedo is not going to be enough necessarily. You're going to need someone really good next to him. And I just don't think that was it, man. And I think if you can exit that deal, swap him for someone else better, I would do it, because he's on the as well.
He's on a Suge Knight deal, John. See, he's not going anywhere.
He's locked in.
115 million plus a Suge Knight deal. That guy's not going anywhere.
Did you not see what he said in the press? He was like, the Chelsea people like looked after him and supported him when he was accused of racism. And by accused of racism, I mean he was filmed being racist. No, he's one of their own. You might as well have grown that one in Cobham. Like, he is absolutely not going anywhere.
The whole, obviously they're going to accept him back. Number one, we paid 100 million for him. We're not just going to kick him out the door. And obviously we've got loads of black players as well. So we have to find team harmony. So it's just like, you have to sort of meet in the middle. Obviously, I wouldn't say they excused him for doing it. I think that's a wrong.
Wasn't it in the press that Fofana was out there copying him and that?
Yeah, Fofana. Yeah, I think, and we had a lot of black French players as well. So I wouldn't call it accepting. I think that's the wrong word. I mean, like,
I think your PR just stinks. Like you guys really need to get a
It's always stunk.
because
It's always stunk.
you know what he needs to do, right? Just don't talk about it ever again. Right? Apologize.
Why is he doing
And make up with your teammates and don't speak.
That wasn't the only thing he spoke about in the interview.
What are you speaking about?
That wasn't the only thing he spoke about in the interview.
Yeah, but this is that classic. This is that classic argument that people do when they back in their like the politicians that they like. Oh, that wasn't the full context of the argument. You know how the media works, bro. If you say anything anywhere near, exactly, those words came out of his mouth. And if I remember correctly, the Athletic had like 4 or 5 different sliding images on that Instagram post of him saying stuff. So it's not like he just said one word and just left it at that.
That's why I didn't say one allegedly. That's why I didn't say one allegedly because he said that shit.
Yeah, the media done him on that though. To be fair, he did himself by doing it in the first place, and the media done him on that. But he should, the press people, like you guys have said, they should have warned him because they know like, what's going to be one of the things.
So they were like, racism controversy. I know. Let's give him the arm.
Mad. All right, let's go on to United West Ham so I can get my tears out and my anger out because, yeah, boy, that was a rough Monday night, man. Thursday night, rough Monday's coming up in a few days' time. Home 1-1 draw against West Ham. Mate, that game stunk. That was such a bad game. And yeah, we go in the lead in the second half. Diogo Dalot actually does something decent for once. And then we concede from a set piece. And I was giving it all the set piece ole last week. Well, there you go. The curse is it. And to be honest, West Ham are a land of giants. Although I think it was Jared Bowen that won the header to get the goal, which is hilarious. But we definitely don't want to be conceding set pieces against them. And yeah, ends 1-1. To be honest, I think it was quite. I mean, we dominated the ball, and the XG, if that even means anything, was a lot higher for us. But it wasn't a great performance. I don't think 1-1's an unfair result. So yeah, at this point, we were chatting off stage, backstage, sorry, before we started recording. Amram's rattled, lads, and I think the end is near because he's not been winning games on the football field, but he's been winning on the press conferences, and that's what's kept him in a job for I feel like the last 6-7 months over this really drab period. But when he's getting rattled by Kyle Anker from the Athletic, which I don't think his question was even that rattling, to be fair. He didn't say why were you so shit or ask him anything that he actually had a difficult, time answering. And he just completely lost his head. So there's rumors out there that this Wolves game is going to be the deciding factor. And if he doesn't get the dub, then apparently the Glazers are going to step back in and basically just come in and take over the ship again and tell Ineos to do one in terms of the football stuff. So it's going to be a big game. But this one, stinker. West Ham deserved it. That Magassa in midfield, haven't really heard too much about him, but I'm not going to lie, he was the best midfielder on the pitch by a country mile. And most of what he did was just cover grass and make a few simple passes. Like the rest of Bruno was not good in this game. Casemiro was holding on for dear life, and the rest of our midfield was just shocking. How Cobby does not see the pitch, I don't know. And you bring on that bum Ushate to come on, and of course we concede and we lose a result with that guy coming on. Terrible performance. In Liverpool's glummest, worst situation they've had in quite a few years, we sit level on points with them, which hurts me enough because we should be miles clear of them and we're shit. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think, what you guys want to add. Poor performance for me, and that's 2 home games against Everton and West Ham, 1 point. That's sacking worthy in my opinion. Anyone want to join in and kick me while I'm down? No, just silence.
No,
that hurts more.
It's just sad not sad to see because I'm enjoying it thoroughly, but it is quite like, ooh, are you guys gonna have maybe not the same season as last year? Like I don't think you can have the same season as last year because there's no Europe for you to fill in. But yeah, it's just like when will it get better? And the answer is probably a long time from now. But like generally, I feel like you covered all of my points really well. You look uninspired. Your manager's crashing out. What did Cobby do? What did Cobby do? Did like somebody tell him like a trick? Like they were like, oh yeah, go say this to the manager in Portuguese. Like he's gonna love it. And it was actually like
he's smashing Amorim's imaginary door or something.
I spit on the grave of your relatives or something in Portugal. I'd like what there has to be something. Yeah. There has to be something like how does he not get into your team ahead of Casemiro? How does he not get in ahead of Ugarte? He will literally play
the one. Ugarte is
play
fucking abysmal. Ugarte is fucking abysmal. He should never play for us again. He shouldn't really have been playing for us in the first place. But you give everyone a chance, and he's absolutely horseshit. So I can't understand in a game where you need to get a bit of control, you bring him on to just run around like a headless chicken. It's the perfect game state. Even 1-0 up, you want to just keep the ball, close control, keep the ball ticking. The perfect player on the bench from a midfield perspective for us would be bring on Cobby. Cobby, Casemiro together, push Bruno further up. It makes complete sense. So I have no clue. There's got to be something going on in the background, like you said. I don't know what it is, but you can't just exile one of our most promising like prospects that we've had in the team for years, and someone who literally was playing in the midfield in a Euros final just like, 12, 18 months ago, whatever it was, over Ugarte. If it was someone actually cold, I would disagree with it, but you could at least point to the other guy being decent. But you can't tell me Ugarte is better than shit. He's just shit. So, I don't know.
But I do think that like this gets to a wider point, right? Which is every single time Amorim starts to make changes in a match is when it goes downhill.
Every time.
I could have sworn you're 1-0 up or you're leading games frequently recently. He makes changes and then you end up losing or drawing every single time. And in this game, like I was watching the Gary Neville podcast, right? And he was talking about at 1-0 up or 1-1 or whatever the score was, whenever you start making changes, right? You bring like 4 defensive, or I think it was 4 out of them were defensive changes and 1 was like an attacker or mainly defensive changes. And I think this was a question that was asked to Amorim in the post-match press conference, right? Where it's like, why don't you bring on more attacking subs, like when you need a goal and so on and so forth? And he was just like, well, so who do you want me to bring on? And then obviously all questions in about Cobby, and it's quite clear to me that like there's something going on between the two of them, because we've seen this with Amorim before, and it tends when people get iced out, it tends to be some sort of a disagreement that has happened between them, or some sort of conversations they've had where they've made it clear you ain't touching the pitch, basically, right? So I think honestly, I do think that is coming to the end of Amorim's reign. And what I will say to you, Ant, to maybe make you feel a bit better, is when I look at this team, if you set up in a 4-3-3, your team actually looks really good. We didn't talk about the bright spots in that game, right? So Ahmad was good. Ahmad was absolutely cooking the youth the whole game and got so much joy out of him the whole game. And if you can figure out a way for Ahmad to be more important in your team, and in my opinion, under a 4-3-3, you could probably do that, right? Between Mbeumo, you could even stick Mbeumo probably up top while Sesko's kind of finding his feet, stick Ahmad in the right wing, and I think you'll play better. If you look, right, like you've got a good midfield to play 3, right? You've got Fernandes, you've got Casemiro, you've got Cobby. If you want, you could put Mount in the legs, you could put you could put Ugarte in there. I know, yes, he's crap, but he has legs at least to a certain extent to run around a bit. Back 4 point of view, right? You can put Shaw back at left back, you could put Yoro, De Ligt, Maguire. You've got various centre backs now, centre back options. You've got Heaven, who could play in 2. You've seen Mazraoui play centre back 2. You've got right back options. You've got Dalot. You've got Dorgu, who can basically play on either side. You've got Mazraoui, who can play at various different positions. Like, this is a team that could really, could be much better under a 4-3-3. And then I don't even need to talk about your attacking options. Like, your attacking options are class for a 4-3-3. You've got Cunha, who literally is used to playing in that kind of left wing, drifting into the middle position. You've got obviously 2 strikers at least now in terms of like Xerxes and Sesko. And then of course your right wing options are crazy. So like Mate, honestly, this system is just making you look so bad. And he's obviously not going to change it. It's very clear he's not going to change it. He even said in a press conference that God himself could not make me change this without me wanting to myself. So it's clear he's not changing it. And your team's just not built for it right now. You don't have proper wing backs, really. I think Dorgu is maybe the only thing you could call close to an actual wing back.
He's been poor as well.
Have the profiles for centre mid to play like a 2 midfield. And then this 2-10 thing, I don't think it works for Mbeumo or Cunha. They're both really good players, but I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it's good for either of them. I think Mbeumo definitely needs a lot more width himself. He can drift into the middle when he wants to, but he starts out far on the right-hand side and comes in. I don't think it works like him kind of being a bit narrow. With Cunha, it can potentially work a little bit, but I think the left wing back options are not supporting him or helping him at all. I know Dalot had a decent game in that game, this time, but he usually has stinkers. So I'm going to be honest with you, that's the bright spot for you, the silver lining. You could be way better. If you get a new coach in who can play a 4-3-3, who can actually make changes when necessary, you can bring the best out of players. This is a team, this is a good lineup of players, man. You've got depth in areas, you've got players that maybe, they've been out in the cold for a little bit, but they're highly thought of. Like, De Ligt is a great example of a player that was out in the cold, and now look at him, he looks good. So I think you've got something to be excited about, but you do need to, either Amorim needs to be told, like, he needs to be given an ultimatum and just said, mate, you either fucking change formation or you're gone.
It's not the bro.
And
I agree with a lot.
He will just say no, change it, and then you can sack him and you can move on.
No, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I would even say we've still got enough pieces to even play this formation well enough to not fucking draw at home to West Ham and lose at home to Everton. Like, even with Dalot at left back, Dorgu at left back, and the options that we have, it's not only a formation thing, it's the way that he's asking them to play, or they're not reacting to what he's asking for. Because Gary Neville also mentioned during comms, why are they moving it so slow? Like, those guys can also move the ball a lot quicker. Even the personnel that we have to move it quicker to make that formation work. So if we brought in Ollie Glasner and he decides to play the same formation, I wouldn't be worried. I think the formation stuff, as much as I agree 4-3-3 could work, it's just about being flexible enough to change when you see things not working. If you know your players could also play 4-3-3 and you see that the 3-4-3 is not working, just switch it, man. Just switch it for like 10-15 minutes in a game, see if you get more joy. It's just the fact that whatever instruction he's given them, they're not buying it. And that makes me more worried about just him generally. Now it's too late for him, I think, to even change formation. The players have their opinion set of him. They know what they want to do and whether or not they want to back him. And at this point, I think it's just collapse for him. He's done. And if he's crashing out in the press conferences, that tells me he knows that as well, or he's feeling that it's the writings on the wall. So at this point, man, just Nash is somewhere, punch in the air, going, I told you. But yeah, you need to just get rid and find someone who can come in and at least get us playing quicker football. And I don't care whatever formation it is. Just get people playing. And if you see someone's shit, like, they just got to be logical. You can't be out on the stands or watching that on your sofa saying, why the fuck has he brought on Ugarte? Why the hell has he brought on like 4 defenders when you're, like in a situation like that? What? Like, that's just like rookie stuff. Like, I've got no fucking clue. I'm football manager, the University of Football Manager, and I wouldn't fucking make them decisions. So how the hell is this guy doing it? Like, it just doesn't make sense. When you start thinking that you might be smarter than your manager, it's over for you. And yeah, we're not far away from that. The decisions stink. Rhys, stick a boot in quickly before we go to Liverpool, or you can't?
No, yeah, I think I do agree with Jonty. I think the stubbornness is going to be Ruben Amorim's downfall, and his unwillingness to adapt within sort of a game. The Kobbie Mainoo thing, that I'll agree, it does seem very personal, because I don't understand in terms of midfield options and what he can offer, why he's not being used, particularly in a 1-1 against West Ham. But yeah, I think tactically, I've just been very disappointed in Amorim. I think everyone expected him to sort of shift the mentality of the United players and sort of get them playing and getting results. But it just doesn't seem like every time I feel like you're turning a corner, you just pull yourself back with results like Everton and West Ham. So, yeah, it does seem like the players aren't enthusiastic about this tactical setup. I just don't see the hunger. I don't see them playing for the manager, but yeah, it's weird because I did think he would sort of last the season, but if you push towards the season you had last year, then I think you'll have to make a drastic change. And then I think the main thing that's going to be his downfall is this tactical setup, and people sort of understanding how to work against it. And it just seems like they don't have the fight for it under this manager. So something sort of needs to give, and is you either bring in a manager that they will sort of have that fight for and want to go out and play for, or you bring in players that actually suit this formation that he wants to play. Like John said, sort of, Mbeumo, he basically should operate more wider, but then obviously he'll be in the way of the wing backs, so it will make it awkward. Cunha does operate well as a 10. Sesko needs to find a bit of confidence, maybe when he comes back. But yeah, I think it's one of the two. He either gets players that actually want to play for him in this formation, or which is weird because you just had a summer transfer window. You bring in a manager that is tactically fluid, that can adapt, can look at in-game situations and say, right, I'm going to change this here and there. But I think we'll sort of know to either by the end of the season whether his days are numbered.
It'll be before then, bro. I reckon this is going to get sorted out like in these next 2 weeks or something, because they won't want to go into the Christmas festive period with all this crazy shit hanging over their heads. So if he drops a lot of points in the next couple of weeks, I reckon it's done, and they'll be out either looking for an interim, bring Ollie back, or something like that until the end of the season. You know what I mean? Sign the thing. Ollie's at the wheel. And then, we'll see what happens at the end of the season. But, terrible result. All right, let's get on to another stinking result. So talking about ducking pods, our Liverpool should be rep ducked this one after another pretty stinky performance at home at Anfield, 1-1 against Sunderland. Boy. Obviously, I didn't really watch this game because there was choice. So I chose another game to watch on that day. But from all the highlights and everything, I look back at, obviously, the match reports and stuff going on live. It sounded like Sunderland put belt to arse in this game and probably should have won it. Virgil van Dijk, again, doing some top-tier, greatest centre-back of all time defending for Sunderland's first goal. Gives the ball away, backs off, twerks a bit, they score. And then somehow Liverpool managed to actually get an equaliser. Hats off, but it actually did something. Sadly, not a goal for him. And he's 0023 or whatever we're at right now, but at least he had a decent performance, and Sunderland get a 1-1 draw. What did you guys make of the game? Did any of you guys watch it live? I'll ask that first. And if you've watched it back, Razor, what did you make of it? Should we be absolutely hammering them on this game, or was it a glorious draw like Chelsea Arsenal?
Glorious draws. Nah, to be fair, I think it's just more of what we've seen from Liverpool. Like, they look lethargic, they look uninspired. It looks like there's not really, pieces of the puzzle aren't really fitting together very well. And this wasn't a thing where they had Sunderland under pressure and Sunderland were fighting for their life. I watched a decent amount of the game live and then watched back, but just seeing how they were the authority, the confidence with which they were zipping the ball about, how they were sort of meeting them, they're not afraid of Liverpool. And, you know, we can give credit to Sunderland. We can talk about how Sunderland have come on and given all the top sides a bit of a run for their money. And they're obviously quite well drilled and they've got players that do this and do that. But like Liverpool just, it really looks like someone's done some kind of Obia black magic judge in the dressing room. Like they're just, it's not
They've been space jammed.
competing. They've
been space jammed.
Yeah, they've fully been space jammed. And it's kind of mad to see, because I feel like talking to Liverpool fans and seeing how the media revolves around it, like every week is a different thing that is the reason why Liverpool weren't able to do what they wanted and win. Do you know what I mean? But like, yeah, even against Sunderland games, just like specifically, Sunderland looked like the side that were more likely to take all 3 points. I can't lie. That was how it felt from my watching. I don't know what you might felt like.
Jones, what did you make of it? Did you have a chance to see it?
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
So I was like flipping in games. I mean, first thing I want to say, it's really weird seeing Sunderland playing blue. I don't know about you guys. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So that's one weird part of it. But I think, yeah, like overall, you know what you're going to get from Sunderland. They're going to come out and they're going to be really up for it, and they're going to give you a really hard time. And if you're going to win, you're going to earn it. You're going to properly earn it. And Liverpool, they looked better. I will say this: like they look slightly better than they have previously. Slightly more organised in general. Just, you know, even Verts looked slightly better. Their team selection made a bit more sense to me. I know Liverpool fans are still moaning about various different people, particularly Cody Gakpo. But like in general, I thought they were not quite as bad. But you know, this ain't you know, what you'd expect from last season or seasons before, where a newly promoted side, you just need to be half decent against them and win. Like Sunderland are going to push you really hard, and I think it was ended up being somewhat of a fair result. I think Sunderland were good, and they probably could have won it, but I think balance is probably a fair result for both of them. But again, I just think that, you know, Liverpool are not improving at the they need to improve for number one, slot to survive, number two, for them to do anything half decent in the year. Right? Like I know that we looked at like Man last season, and they had an even longer period of stinking in terms of losses, right? But they bounced back pretty quickly, right? So after that January transfer, got their players in, they actually started looking pretty good. Marmoush started banging in goals. Like they were all right, and they managed to get back up to a good level quite quickly after that. And that was a prolonged period being crap. Whereas Liverpool, really, I can't see it. And I don't think they're going to do what Man City will do. They're not going to go in January and spend on 300 from what I imagine. Right? Maybe it's a different Liverpool. They spent 460 million in this past summer. So maybe they'll go and do more in the January window. But I can't imagine that they will do much. Right? They might get a centre-back, sure, but I don't know if that's going to solve all their problems. Because it sounds like, from speaking to Liverpool fans, a centre-back is all we need. No, it's not, mate. You need a lot more than that. And I don't think they're improving quickly enough. So I think this could be a really bad season for them. You know, like when they were in the middle of their losses, people were saying, "Oh yeah, maybe they're out of race now, but maybe they'll still get top four. They can come third. They can come second." Bro, I think they're really struggling for like 6th to 8th based off of this current performance and the speed with which it's improving again. I'm sure players will drop off and so on and so forth, right, from other teams, and all the different matches start weighing on people. But man, Liverpool they genuinely look awful. And I do want to say one thing that was just so sweet was when that Verts goal got given as an own goal instead. That was the sweetest moment I've had in a long time, because that shot was hitting closer to hitting the corner flag than it was to hitting the goal. If they had given that to him, it would have been an absolute fix, because he fucking sliced the life out of that, right? He should have called 4 on the side of that one because that was dangerous to people in the crowd. But that might be the sweetest and funniest moment ever. And I don't know if you guys have seen the press conference afterwards with us, and I can't remember who the other player is, but it might have been Curtis Jones or something, where they like to him that he's not it, and it just looks fucking furious. It's one of the funniest clips ever. I know that Verts is just a young guy, and I'm not trying to hate on him too much. Like I know he's a human after.
Let's hate on him. He's shit.
Honestly, that is peak viewing, and there's been like hilarious memes of Klopp also having something previously announced him in a press conference where Rhys did not get given the goal, and his face, he just drops from like that big toothy grin to just like, and honestly, Verts looked furious, and it was peak viewing. I loved it.
All right, let's get to the big question then, guys. The one that absolutely rattled the barn doors of Kem yesterday. Van Dijk has had yet another stinker, guys. I think we can all admit, right? This game was Brian Brobby had him and Konate on toast from the extended highlights I watched anyway, and from the commentary. Yep, great, Kem. I'm glad to see you locked in, bro. I don't know why. If you've watched the whole pod, why can't you come on and exactly questions need to be asked, right? But yeah, another stinky performance from Virginia Van Dijk. Does he need to be removed from the starting 11 like Salah? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a bit bad for Mo. He's out here ballied up on the bench. He hasn't I know he's not been playing the greatest, but I don't think he's had as many stinkers as Van Dijk has had this season. Van Dijk's been playing netball, he's been twerking, he's been doing all kinds of madness on the pitch, and yet somehow this guy's still on the field. And we've got some Liverpool fans like Kem who are crying and saying we've got no centre backs. But you've got Joe Gomez, you've got Konate, they can play centre back, and you can play Kirkez, and you can play someone else at right back. There's things they could do, right? Is it time that they remove Van Dijk? Rhys, what do you think? I know you're a Van Dijk questioner, should we say, or not hater?
It's difficult because if you take him out of the lineup, then you lose that aspect of leadership he does sort of come with as a defender. But I do agree that maybe he's not been having the best of times. And then this whole like running away from goal when someone's coming towards you, he needs to get out of that and just sort of grow some balls and put a foot in. Pause.
He's not going to do it now, bro. That's how he's been playing for his whole career. Why is he suddenly going to change now?
But I just think people are taking so much as people are taking advantage of that a lot. I think they do see that in their kind of analysis, and I think he is someone that you can sort of get at. Whether he should be taken out, I mean, the defensive options Liverpool have, are they better than that? That's the question. And I do agree they do need more than a defender. Maybe they do need more cover in midfield. I think that would help Van Dijk a lot. But yeah, it's a tricky one now, because do they go out and spend more money on another defender, or do they work with what they've got? I just think Slot won't take the same view that he is taking with Salah. I just think based on the fact that they have the leadership aspect that Van Dijk sort of comes with. So I think he needs to sort of maybe tactically get it right. But yeah, Van Dijk should be dropped. That's fine. I'm not on the fence here. I do think he should be dropped. But at the same time, who else do they have to bring in? It might be a transfer market thing in January.
Arsenal lads, any of you have an opinion on this? Because I hear what you're saying, Rhys, but the leadership thing this season, I actually reckon he's hurt. He's hurt the team with some of the antics. Like, he's been grilling Kirkez at every opportunity. He's been throwing his arms up and doing all kinds of other stuff, which is not. People have criticized, and Johnson's going to hate this because I'm going to make the comparison again. People have criticized when Bruno does the antics and stuff like that. Why? Come on. Van Dijk's been out here grilling his own, teammates, making them feel like shit. So I'm not buying into the leadership thing. If he was immaculate and he was properly, trying to G up his team and actually help them, I would hear it. But I feel like this season he's been hurting them. But what do you reckon, Arsenal lads?
I think on performances he should be dropped. Like, if you just ignore everything else, like the depth of the team and whatever else, if you just look at how well is he playing, but how well should a Liverpool centre back play? How well should a Liverpool captain play? He's not playing like he should be. I know that a lot of people have grilled Konate, but recently Konate's even looked better than him, which is a real strange turn of events. So I think if it was purely on performances, he'd be getting dropped. But I think what Rhys said is 100% right, which is like in terms of options, true back options, they don't have enough to drop him, right? They can drop Salah because they've got plenty of options behind that actually help them. But with Van Dijk, you've got who? Like, are they going to put Endo in with his mouth guard in? That's not happening, man. They're not going to put Endo in next to Konate. They probably should, yeah. They could try it out in one of these, one of the easier Champions League matches or something like that. But they won't. And I mean, another thing to say is like Gravenberch can play centre back. He's got the build for it. He's obviously
options, bro.
Good at defensive field. Like he can probably play centre back as well. But I just don't think, like, especially imagine if you're Slot. You've already somewhat lost the fans. You may have lost a lot of people in that dressing room already. Are you now going to come out and say, Van Dijk, mate, you're on the bench? I don't think he's getting away with that. I think that turns into like Chelsea settings where Terry's giving my man a call and saying, yeah, you got to fire this guy. Come with it. Get rid of this guy immediately. And I think Van Dijk does probably have a similar-ish level of sway when it comes to the Liverpool dressing room. I don't think it would be career suicide for Slot, but it would be hilarious if he just did it on his way out. Like if he just said, you know what, I'm going to blow all of this up. Van Dijk, you're crap. On the bench. I'm going to play an under 18 centre back instead of you. Salah, jog it on. You're not coming on the pitch. Isak, you fuck off and just play. If you could duplicate Cody Gakpo 11 times, I would just stick 11 Cody Gakpos out there and just blow everything up and then leave.
Yeah, maybe you should do that. Rhys, anything to add before we get into the predictions, or do you agree?
No, not really. To be honest, I just think Liverpool definitely been space jammed. I think there's only so much Slot can do. I do think the leadership thing is a bit of a thing that like people are hiding behind. They've got enough players in that side that should be able to take on a leadership responsibility. I would look at like a McAllister or a Szoboszlai. I don't care if they're not like the kind of captain that you want or the kind of like you should be able to like rotate players out based on their performances. But I do hear the thing, A, in terms of positional availability, like John said, and then B, in terms of, I think with the leadership thing, it might get to a point of it's like, right, you want him to drop. There's been shouts for him to drop this player, shouts for him to drop that player, shouts for him to drop Salah, shouts for him to drop Van Dijk. If he does drop all of these players, then there will probably be a leadership problem on the field. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you can probably only do like one or two of these things at once. But it's so nice watching Liverpool be fucking awful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful, mate. It's the only thing giving me joy at the moment. Apart from get married soon as well.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go into the preview section. Obviously, we've got games coming up really soon. We've got the Arsenal Villa game coming up in like 40 minutes or so. And then the rest of our teams are also playing. But an update on the prediction league first. So yeah, Io's still top, 51 points, 9 correct scores. Kem had a great week this week. Obviously not his team, but personally he did. He's up to second, 48 points and 9 correct scores. Rhys as well, you had a pretty good week this week as well, 47 points, 8 correct scores. Jonts, you've also got the same amount of points, 47, but 7 correct scores. Razors in 5th, 42 points, 4 correct scores. I'm languishing in 6th, 41 points, 5 correct scores. And the artist formerly known as Nash he had a great week this week. He had 2 correct scores. He's actually starting to close the gap a bit. 33 points, 4 correct scores for him. But this week we had 2 people miss a deadline to send in their predictions, unfortunately. They sent them after the deadline. In one case, only a few minutes after, and another case, about half an hour after. So unfortunately, both Jonts and Nash can only get the correct result points in their games that they predicted.
Again. What is going on, Johns? What is going on?
Yeah, he's had a stinker. And he was in the group chat, obviously saying, "I'm going to be on the pod or whatever," blah blah blah. And man forgot to send his prediction. So yeah, not the greatest moment.
Too much time trying to cook me. That's what you get.
Look,
but
at
everyone else.
I updated my FPL and forgot to update this.
An FPL deadline was later. You silly boy.
And I was literally in the chat 5 minutes before the deadline, talking, saying I'm going to be on the pod, whatever. And then at 10 o'clock, I get the message saying you're done at it. So yeah, Io, you're somewhere, bench pressing or whatever you do. You're happy. I'm sure you are. But like I've always said, I will have my revenge.
All right, let's go into the preview section. We'll start with Villa Arsenal. So Io's gone 2-1 Arsenal. Rhys, what's your prediction on this one?
I went 1-1. I think Villa are in a good bit of form right now. I think they might be up for it. So yeah, 1-1.
All right, 1-1 for you. Jonts, what's your prediction on this one?
Does it matter?
No.
Arsenal win, basically. I went 2-1 Arsenal, but what's the point in saying the score? Arsenal are going to win. Fuck off.
Fair enough. Kem's gone 2-1 Arsenal as well. Razor, what's your prediction on this one?
I've also gone 2-1 Arsenal.
He's so rattled. All right, I've gone a Desmond 2-2 in this game. Purely because Villa actually look pretty decent. Like we haven't really talked about them obviously much on this pod, but they're on a crazy run, man, and come back win against Brighton as well. So with all the defensive changes and stuff going on with you guys, I feel like there's a chance they actually manage to score a few goals against you guys. But yeah, it might be wishful thinking. Nash has gone 2-1 Arsenal. All right, so mostly Arsenal 2-1 wins. Only Rhys and me have gone draw in this one. All right, we'll go Bournemouth, Chelsea. Io's gone 1-1. Rhys, what's your prediction in this one? You there, bro? You're on mute.
Rhys, you're mute, mate.
He's joking.
Yeah. What's your prediction, Rhys?
I don't know. I went 2-2 in the Chelsea Bournemouth.
Yeah.
2-2. Lots of shaky defending, I predict.
You're showing a lot of faith in your team.
Yeah, Bournemouth having a tricky time as well, though. They've kind of fallen off the bandwagon, so it's going to be an interesting game after that Leeds result. Johns, what's your prediction in this one?
Draw 2-2 if it matters.
He's going to reluctantly give every single prediction. Kem's gone 1-0 Bournemouth. Razor, what's your prediction on this one?
I was tempted for a 1-0 Bournemouth, but instead I went 2-1 Bournemouth. Because the world champs a little bit lackluster.
The world champs aren't world champion at the moment. Let's put it that way.
You get.
Yeah, I've gone 2-1.
Being champion of the world.
I've gone 2-1 Chelsea. More than anything because of Bournemouth's stinky run recently. I think you guys can't be as diabolical as you were against Leeds. Nash has gone 2-0 Chelsea. All right, let's go on to City Sunderland. Io's gone 2-2. Rhys, what's your prediction in the City Sunderland game?
2-1 City. I went
2-1. Johns, what's your prediction?
2-1 City.
2-1. Kem's gone 2-0 City. Razor, what's your prediction in this one?
3-1 Manchester City.
All right, nice. I've gone 3-2 City. I still don't know about that one. I don't think I'm going to get points on that.
I like 3-2 better than my 3-1.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Sunderland might do it in this one. But again, they've had Liverpool away and City away back to back. That's pretty tricky. So that's the logic I've gone with. What makes me worried is Nash has gone with the exact same prediction. He's gone 3-2. So yeah, that's made me slightly nervous about that one. All right, let's go Spurs Brentford. Io's gone 2-1 Brentford. Rhys, what's your prediction in the Spurs Brentford game?
1-1.
Yeah. Jonty, what's your prediction in this game?
I've actually gone 2-1 Spurs. I don't know why, but yeah, Thomas Frank. Choo, blood. Come on, do something. It's my differential, it would appear.
Yeah, I think you've gone for one of them tactical ones, but yeah, Spurs are struggling. Kem's gone 1-1. Razor, what's your prediction in this one?
I've gone 2-2. Yeah, several buzzer moments will occur, and I will enjoy them all.
I've gone 2-1 Brentford, purely because I think Brentford were quite smart with their lineup against you lot, and they probably thought we're not going to win this game. Let's just try and keep the scoreline down or sneak a draw or something, and we'll save our players for the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where we can go and slap them up and get Thomas Frank back. So I'm backing my boy, the Brazilian with like Croatian first name or whatever, Igor. He's definitely gonna bag in this game. So I've gone 2-1 Brentford. Nash has gone 0-0. So that's an interesting one. I don't know if we've ever had a 0-0 prediction on this.
I was about to say, I think that is our first 0-0 prediction ever, I swear.
Yeah, he's clearly predicting a stinky game. I don't blame him. I swear Spurs' XG in like the last 3 or 4 games in the first half has been like 0.01 or something like that. So I can't go against that one. All right, Leeds Liverpool. Io's gone 1-1. Rhys, what's your prediction in this game?
2-1 Liverpool.
Liverpool win. Jonty, what's your prediction in this one?
2-0 Liverpool against my better judgment.
Okay, interesting. Kem's gone 3-1 Liverpool. Razor, what's your prediction in this one?
3-2 Liverpool. I would also like to float a conspiracy theory if Musa does very well this week that he is using some kind of AI interface. that 0-0 prediction, that's like an M dash in a paragraph written by ChatGPT. I've got my eyes on you, brother.
It's like, what was that sentence at the end? Would you like to make this shorter for you?
Yeah,
he's got that in his predictions
that
that being submitted.
Yeah,
I mean, he got 2 correct scores last week. So
yeah, I know.
4 correct scores, then I'm gonna be down for this conspiracy theory because that's one Fed's mad turnaround.
Fed's doing a sweep. Rico pending.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Rico, no Henry.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I've gone out on a limb, I guess. I thought this was going to be, some other people would go similar. I've gone Leeds win 2-1. Don't know if I'm being hopeful, but I don't know. I'm hoping for that Tanaka thunderbolt again in this game. That would be sweet. Nash has gone 1-1, so he's got another draw. Last game of the week, it will be on Monday. Wolves United. Io's gone 2-2. Rhys, what's your prediction in this one?
Yeah, probably against my better judgment. I went 2-1 Man United. Yeah, I don't know. If you can't get that right, then kick him out the door, man. Just give him his P40.
We're so in the mud that we're going away to a team that haven't won a game all season, have 2 points, and we got man out here saying against their better judgment, they're predicting a United win. God, we're on the fucking floor, mate. Pits of hell. Jonty, what's your prediction on this one?
Yeah, I mean, against my better judgment, also, I've gone for Man United 3-1. There's something about like giving your predictions in late that just like, I don't know, it's like you're under so much duress that you just start predicting mad things and you start putting like fucking Man United to win 8-0 and nothing matters anymore at this point. I should just send W or D and that should be it, because I don't know why I've even done that. Have you even won a game? Have you won a game by 2 goals?
We've won a few
season.
We have, yeah. We have.
By 2 goal margins, yeah?
Yeah. We've beaten the great Sunderland that none of your teams can beat 2-0, and we beat Brighton 4-2 as well. Yeah, we beat Brighton. But everything else has been slim pickings or losses or defeats. So you're not completely wrong. All right, you've gone 3-1. Kem's gone 1-0 United. that seems like he's banging Judge on us again. Razor, what's your prediction on this one?
I forgot they gave out 6 points for beating Sunderland.
They should. We'd be top of the league by then.
You still wouldn't be 2-0 to United. Not against my better judgment, because Wolves have been like, United are cheeks, but Wolves are Dr. Miami BBL levels of cheeks. They have been absolutely pants.
Colombian settings out here.
Yeah, Dominican Republic in the wheelchair on the way back from the airport type beat. Like, yeah, cheeks. But in this cheeks off, you know, what's that? Have you seen the trend? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. But have you seen the trend where the youths will comment on a girl's picture and they'll be like, turn around and show me all of that and insert ship player here. Turn around and show me all of that. Alejandro Garnacho is one of my favorite tweets I've ever read. It's bare funny. But yeah, 2-0 United. 2-0 United because Wolves are terrible, not because United are good. You won't find any form, but it will keep hammering around along a bit longer. And to quote Ayo in his absence, it pleases me greatly.
I was waiting.
The most stressful thing about that is that you think they're keeping a clean sheet. Like,
yeah, this is what I was just going to say.
Winning by 2 goals is fine, but they ain't keeping a clean sheet. Come on.
We've kept one clean sheet all season.
You, Mr. I'm in the group chat, but didn't send my predictions off in time. That's what's disgraceful, right? Mr. Hashtag Pain. Secondly, like I said, I don't think it's, but you're not getting me wrong. This is not based on United being good. This is based on Wolves being bad, and the scrutiny that Amorim is going to be under after the woeful result he got last week. I think him and the players have to produce something a little bit more calma, a little bit more feeling. You know, I'm very feel. And as Ant said very eloquently, I'm just going to jack his verse bar for bar because it makes more sense. Like, they got 2 points all season. They've not won a game. If you can't keep a clean sheet against these, man, send them down with them, man, and Burnley too. Keep West Ham. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't want to break it to you, bro, but we're not keeping a clean sheet against Wolves. I've gone 2-1 United, and I've probably also gone against my better judgment because this gives me feelings of we're absolutely horseshit until United come around, and then we snatch a win. And now I've said it. Wolves have been a bit of a bogey team for us recently. So yeah, I'm not even confident. But I've gone 2-1
7 goals. They've scored 7 goals all season. So that is a disgrace.
They'll have at least 8 by the end of this game week. I guarantee that. Nash has gone 2-1 Wolves. So that tells you everything you need to know about the United fan base right now. All right, we'll wrap it up there, guys. An hour and a half. The Arsenal Villa game coming up. Let's see what the prediction league looks like at the end of this game week. Obviously, Jonty and Nash, I will reiterate one more time, can only get 1 point per match. So yeah, we might see the middle of the table clog up a bit. Hopefully, if me and Razor do our jobs properly. But anyway, yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks guys for joining, and we'll see you guys next week.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.